Let's go right to our next caller. Barbara, who do we have on the line?
Roger Mary Francis is on the line, and her daughter was in an accident recently.
All right, thank you, Barbara. Let's talk to Mary Francis. Mary Francis, this is Roger Riedmiller of Lawyer on the Line. How can I help you?
I have my daughter and her.
Go ahead.
My daughter and her husband were in a bad accident in August, and my daughter worked at the long-term care, and her doctor told her she could not go back to work until after the first of the year, and her boss tells her that if she doesn't come back to work like now, that she won't have a job. Can they legally do that?
Well, that would be August, would be September, October, November, December, January. You're talking about approximately 150 days, is that right?
Right. She had a broken back, a broken pelvis, and a concussion.
Do you know whether or not she applied for FMLA leave from this employer?
I do not know that. I do not know that.
Well, what I would suggest that she do is immediately file for FMLA leave of employment, which is supposed to provide some degree of protection. What that does, it doesn't provide with an individual with any benefits of any sort, like lost wages from having missed work, but what it does, if she is qualified for such, if she's working for a large enough employer and so on, it qualifies her for some degree of protection under the Federal Medical Leave Act, that the employer then can't let her go if she qualifies under this, can't let her go during a particular period of time. Now, it varies from situation to situation. It can be as short, as I understand it, as 60 days and as long as 180 days. But what she probably should do, Mary Francis, is talk to the employer about FMLA, probably ought to talk to a lawyer as well about the circumstances to make sure that she does everything she can possibly do to try to protect her rights. The problem is that if she isn't able to go back to work and she doesn't meet the qualifications for FMLA, or she exhausts her FMLA before she can go back to work, there's not a lot of protection under Kansas or federal law for her. And you know, if the employer cannot be required to indefinitely hold open a position, otherwise it could cause an extreme amount of hardship for a lot of employers if they had to wait for a person to for an indefinite period of time to get healthy and come back to work. So the best advice I can give to her is make an inquiry of the employer about FMLA and seek the assistance or help or advice of a lawyer about what else she can do to try to protect her rights and protect her position. Thank you, Mary Francis. I appreciate the phone call.